Are you tired of constantly feeling anxious and overwhelmed? Imagine a life where you can take control of your thoughts and experience a deep sense of peace. In today's video, we're going to walk through 5 powerful steps to help you conquer anxiety and embrace a calm, fulfilling life. Anxiety is something that touches so many people, from mild nerves to intense daily struggles. It's that feeling of tension, fear, or unease about things that might happen, or sometimes things we can't even name. For some, anxiety is like background noise, always there and making life just a little harder to enjoy. For others, it can be a heavy weight that impacts daily routines, relationships, and overall well-being. Understanding how to manage anxiety doesn't mean eliminating it completely. In fact, some level of anxiety is normal and even helpful in motivating us or keeping us safe in certain situations. But when anxiety becomes excessive or interferes with life, it's time to take steps to regain control. Our focus today will be on practical, manageable steps that you can start implementing right away. The aim here isn't to promise a miracle cure. Instead, these steps will empower you to respond to anxiety in a healthier way, so it loses its control over you. What anxiety really is? Anxiety often results from our brain's natural fight or flight response, which is triggered by perceived threats or stressful situations. This response was incredibly useful for our ancestors when facing physical dangers. But in today's world, it can be activated by things like a looming work deadline, financial stress, or even social situations. Understanding anxiety as a natural response can be reassuring, as it helps us realize that we aren't broken. Our brains are just wired to protect us, sometimes in ways that aren't always helpful. It's also essential to recognize that anxiety affects us physically, not just emotionally. Symptoms might include a racing heart, shallow breathing, muscle tension, and even digestive issues. These reactions are part of the body's way of preparing for danger. Knowing this can help us tackle anxiety from both a mental and physical perspective, which is what makes the 5 steps we're going to discuss so effective. Why managing anxiety matters. Living with unmanaged anxiety can be exhausting, and over time, it can impact everything from our physical health to our relationships and productivity. Imagine trying to enjoy a family dinner or a weekend outing, but feeling tense, distracted, or just generally uncomfortable. Anxiety can rob us of moments of happiness and peace. That's why managing it isn't just about reducing stress, it's about reclaiming the joy in our everyday lives. What to expect in this video? In the following sections, we'll dive into each of the 5 steps, breaking them down into practical actions that you can start using today. Each step will focus on a different aspect of anxiety management, from mindset shifts to physical techniques. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of methods you can turn to whenever anxiety starts to creep in. So let's dive in together, starting with step 1. Now that we've set the stage and understand a bit more about how anxiety works, let's dive into our first step, practicing mindful breathing. This is a foundational tool for managing anxiety that helps you regain control and stay grounded in the present moment. Understanding the power of breathing. Breathing is something we often take for granted because it happens automatically. But our breath is one of the most powerful tools we have to combat anxiety. When we feel stressed or anxious, our breathing tends to become shallow and rapid, which actually signals to the body that there's a threat. The shallow breathing is part of the fight or flight response we discussed earlier, which can increase feelings of panic and keep us stuck in a cycle of anxiety. Practicing mindful breathing is a way to hack this response, encouraging the body to calm down by signaling safety and stability. Mindful breathing is about consciously controlling your breath, slowing it down, and paying attention to each inhale and exhale. When you practice this, you bring your focus back to the present moment, helping to interrupt anxious thoughts and calming the physical symptoms of anxiety. How to practice mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is straightforward, but it does require practice to become effective. To start, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit down in a comfortable position, or if you prefer, lie down. Close your eyes if it helps you to focus. Inhale deeply. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, counting to 4 as you do so. Feel the air filling up your lungs and expanding your belly. It can help to place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen to feel your breath moving through your body. Hold. Once you've inhaled, hold your breath for a count of 4. This brief pause allows you to fully absorb the oxygen and helps focus your mind. Exhale slowly. Now, exhale slowly through your mouth to a count of 4. Imagine all the tension leaving your body with your breath, allowing each muscle to relax as you exhale. Repeat. Continue this process for 5 to 10 cycles. If your mind starts to wander or anxious thoughts arise, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This process is often called for breathing or box breathing, and is widely used in anxiety management. With practice, it becomes more natural, and you'll find that you can use it anytime, anywhere to calm yourself in stressful situations. The benefits of mindful breathing for anxiety. Practicing mindful breathing has immediate benefits, helping to calm the mind and reduce physical symptoms of anxiety. But it also has long-term effects. Regularly practicing mindful breathing can train your body to respond differently to stress. It gradually reduces your baseline level of anxiety, so over time, you may notice that stressful situations don't trigger you as easily. Mindful breathing also helps you create a buffer between you and your anxious thoughts. Rather than immediately reacting to anxious feelings, mindful breathing allows you to observe them, acknowledge them, and then let them pass without judgment. This pause can be incredibly powerful, giving you a moment to regain control before anxiety spirals. Building this practice into your routine. To make mindful breathing a habit, try incorporating it into your daily routine. You might start your day with 5 minutes of mindful breathing, or end your day with it to release any built-up tension before sleep. You can also use it as a quick reset during a stressful moment at work, school, or home. Consider setting reminders on your phone or pairing mindful breathing with another habit you already have, like drinking coffee or taking a break. Over time, as this practice becomes second nature, it will become an invaluable tool that you can use anytime you feel anxious. Bringing it all together. Mindful breathing is more than just a technique, it's a way to take control back from anxiety. When we feel overwhelmed, it can feel like anxiety is something happening to us. But with mindful breathing, you're showing yourself that you have a way to calm the storm within. It's a small, simple act, but it can make a huge difference in how you experience anxiety. As we move forward, remember that mindful breathing is something you can return to at any time. It's the foundation that supports the next steps in this journey. Ready for step 2? Let's continue building our toolkit for overcoming anxiety. Now that we've covered mindful breathing, let's move on to our second step, learning to reframe negative thoughts. This skill is essential for gaining a healthier perspective and reducing the impact of anxious thoughts. Why our thoughts matter? Our thoughts play a significant role in shaping our reality. When we're anxious, our minds tend to fixate on negative scenarios or what-if thoughts, fueling feelings of worry and fear. Imagine waking up in the morning and thinking, what if I fail at work today? Or what if something bad happens? Thoughts like these can shape our entire day, making us more prone to stress and anxiety. However, by learning to reframe these thoughts, we can change the way we react to situations, focusing on more balanced and positive perspectives instead. Negative thinking patterns can often be subconscious. You might not even realize how often you fall into cycles of self-doubt, catastrophizing, or expecting the worst. By identifying these patterns, you can begin to interrupt them, which is what makes reframing so powerful. Identifying negative thought patterns. To reframe negative thoughts, the first step is to recognize them. There are several common types of negative thinking patterns that many people experience, especially during moments of anxiety. Some examples include catastrophizing, imagining the worst possible outcome, even if it's unlikely. For instance, if you make a small mistake at work, you might think, I'm going to get fired for this. Black and white thinking, seeing situations as all good or all bad with no middle ground. An example is thinking, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm a failure. Mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking, often in a negative way, like they think I'm not good enough. Overgeneralization, making broad conclusions based on a single event, like I failed once, so I'll fail every time. Being aware of these patterns is the first step toward change. When you catch yourself thinking in one of these ways, that's your opportunity to challenge and reframe it. How to reframe negative thoughts. Let's break down a simple method to help you reframe these thoughts. This process involves 3 steps: identify, challenge, and replace. Identify. Recognize when you're having a negative thought. Pay attention to any feelings of fear, frustration, or sadness, as they're often tied to negative thoughts. For example, you might feel anxious before a presentation and think, I'm going to mess up. Challenge. Question the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought true? What evidence do I have? Often, anxious thoughts aren't based on fact but on fear. For example, you could think about past presentations where you did well, which counters the idea that you'll mess up every time. Replace the negative thought with a more balanced one. This isn't about forced positivity. It's about finding a realistic alternative. In this case, you might say to yourself, I've prepared well, and I'll do my best. One mistake won't define my performance. By practicing this process regularly, you can start to replace patterns of negativity with more balanced and encouraging thoughts. The impact of reframing. Reframing takes time and consistency, but the impact on anxiety can be significant. When you learn to question your negative thoughts, they start to lose their power over you. You'll find that situations that once felt overwhelming become more manageable because you're approaching them with a balanced mindset. It's about building resilience and giving yourself permission to not have all the answers or be perfect. Reframing also promotes self-compassion. Anxiety can be tough on self-esteem, making us feel like we're not capable enough or that we're always falling short. Reframing these thoughts helps you treat yourself with kindness, understanding that making mistakes or feeling uncertain doesn't define your worth. Building reframing into daily life. To incorporate reframing into your life, you could set aside a few minutes each day to reflect on moments where anxiety or negative thoughts impacted you. Write down these thoughts and go through the identify, challenge, and replace process. This small exercise can help reinforce the habit of reframing. Another practical approach is to create thought reminders. When you feel anxious, pause and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or harming me? This simple question can serve as a cue to start reframing in real time, helping you to gradually reshape your thought patterns. Moving forward with confidence. By mastering the art of reframing, you're building a powerful mental tool that helps you tackle anxiety at its root. Rather than being controlled by fear or negativity, you'll learn to approach challenges with resilience and confidence. With step 2 in place, let's keep building our toolkit as we move into step 3. With mindful breathing and reframing negative thoughts in place, let's move on to the third step, engaging in physical activity. This might seem simple, but physical movement can have profound effects on managing anxiety. Why physical activity is essential for reducing anxiety. Physical activity is often associated with physical fitness, but it's also incredibly beneficial for mental health. When we exercise, our bodies release endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. These feel-good hormones help reduce stress and anxiety, making us feel more relaxed and capable of facing challenges. Physical activity also reduces levels of stress hormones like cortisol, which is often elevated when we're feeling anxious. By actively engaging in exercise, you're helping your body reset and rebalance, reducing the physical symptoms of anxiety like muscle tension, restlessness, and fatigue. Studies consistently show that regular physical activity can lead to reduced anxiety levels, improved mood, and even better sleep. The best part, you don't need to be an athlete or commit to intense workouts to see the benefits. Small, consistent actions can make a big difference in managing anxiety. Choosing the right type of physical activity. Not all types of physical activity will appeal to everyone, and that's okay. The key is finding a form of exercise that you enjoy and that feels accessible to you. Here are a few types of physical activities that are particularly helpful for anxiety management. Walking, a simple walk, especially outdoors, can have a calming effect on the mind and body. Walking at a moderate pace for 20 to 30 minutes a day can improve mood and provide a healthy break from daily stress. Yoga. Yoga combines movement with mindful breathing and meditation, which is incredibly beneficial for anxiety. Yoga poses encourage relaxation and flexibility, helping to release built-up tension and improve focus. Strength training, lifting weights or using resistance bands can help reduce stress and build physical confidence. Strength training encourages a sense of accomplishment and helps release endorphins, which ease anxiety. Dancing. Engaging in a fun and energetic activity like dancing can be a great way to relieve anxiety. Dancing is joyful and spontaneous, which helps break the routine of anxious thoughts. Running or cycling for some, cardio activities like running or cycling provide an escape from anxious thoughts. These forms of exercise are great for releasing stress and improving endurance, helping you feel mentally stronger. Making physical activity part of your routine. It's common to feel resistance to starting a new exercise routine, especially if anxiety has been affecting your motivation. To make this easier, start small. You don't have to jump into an hour-long workout every day. Even just 10 minutes of physical activity a few times a week can be a good start, and as you get used to it, you can gradually increase the duration and intensity. Setting realistic goals can also help. If you're new to exercise, aim for 2 to 3 days a week and gradually work up from there. Consider scheduling your workouts at times when you feel most energetic, whether it's in the morning, during lunch, or in the evening. It can also help to track your progress. Use a journal or an app to note how you feel after each activity. Over time, you'll likely notice a pattern of improved mood and reduced anxiety on days when you've engaged in physical activity. Physical activity is a mindful practice. Physical activity can also be a mindfulness practice. When you're engaged in a workout, focus on how your body feels, the rhythm of your breath, and the movement of each muscle. This can help you stay present and release anxious thoughts. For instance, during a walk, you could focus on the sensation of your feet hitting the ground, the sound of your breathing, or the sights and sounds around you. This mindfulness element enhances the benefits of exercise, providing mental clarity and peace. Connecting physical activity to other steps. Physical activity ties in well with the other anxiety management techniques. For example, mindful breathing can be used before, during, or after exercise to help center your focus. Additionally, while exercising, you may notice negative thoughts arising. Use this as an opportunity to practice reframing. Each time you engage in physical activity, think of it as reinforcing your anxiety management toolkit. Staying motivated and consistent. Staying motivated can be one of the biggest challenges, especially when anxiety affects your energy levels. Try to make exercise enjoyable rather than another task on your to-do list. Listen to music or podcast, join a friend, or explore new places if you're going for a walk or run. Surrounding yourself with support, whether through friends or a fitness community, can also make a difference. Remember, the goal here isn't perfection. There will be days when exercise feels harder or less enjoyable, and that's okay. What matters is consistency over time, a pathway to a stronger mind. By incorporating physical activity, you're actively working on building a stronger, healthier mind. Exercise isn't just for physical health, it's a proven way to manage anxiety and build resilience. As we continue, let's look at step 4, which adds another layer to your toolkit for overcoming anxiety. Now that we've explored the benefits of physical activity, let's move on to our 4th step, practicing self-compassion. This may not sound like a typical anxiety management tool, but self-compassion can be transformative for anyone struggling with anxiety. Understanding self-compassion. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness, empathy, and understanding that you would show a friend or a loved one. Many people tend to be their own harshest critics, especially when they feel anxious. Thoughts like, "Why am I so weak?" or "I'm always messing things up" are common among people with anxiety. Self-compassion helps to replace these self-critical thoughts with understanding and support. When you practice self-compassion, you acknowledge that everyone experiences challenges and moments of vulnerability. This shift in perspective can reduce feelings of isolation and self-blame, which often amplify anxiety. By cultivating a kinder attitude toward yourself, you create a supportive mental space where growth and healing are possible. Why self-compassion is important for anxiety. Anxiety often involves a cycle of self-criticism, where each anxious thought or mistake becomes fuel for more self-doubt. Self-compassion interrupts this cycle by encouraging you to respond to yourself with patience and understanding. For instance, if you feel anxious in social situations, self-compassion helps you recognize that everyone has insecurities and that it's okay to feel nervous. Research shows that self-compassion can lead to better emotional resilience and lower levels of anxiety. People who are self-compassionate tend to recover from setbacks faster and feel more comfortable taking risks, as they know they won't punish themselves harshly if things don't go perfectly. Self-compassion becomes a kind of mental safety net, allowing you to handle life's challenges without adding extra pressure. How to practice self-compassion. Practicing self-compassion involves 3 main elements: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. Mindfulness. Be aware of your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you're feeling anxious, notice the thoughts or physical sensations that come up. Instead of pushing them away or criticizing yourself, try acknowledging them with curiosity. For example, you might say to yourself, "I feel anxious right now," and that's okay, it's just a feeling. Common humanity. Remember that you're not alone in your experiences. Anxiety can make us feel isolated, as if no one else understands. But the truth is, everyone experiences challenges and difficult emotions at some point. When you're feeling down, remind yourself that others also face similar struggles. This thought can be incredibly comforting and remind you that imperfection is a part of being human. Self-kindness. Treat yourself with kindness, especially during moments of self-doubt or anxiety. Think about how you would comfort a friend in a similar situation, then offer those same words to yourself. If you're disappointed with a performance at work or anxious about an upcoming event, give yourself the reassurance you need. It might be as simple as saying, "I'm doing my best," and that's enough. The role of perspective in managing anxiety. Gaining perspective is a powerful tool for managing anxiety because it helps put things into context. Anxiety often magnifies problems, making them feel larger or more urgent than they actually are. By taking a step back and viewing a situation from a broader perspective, you can often see that it's not as overwhelming as it initially seems. Perspective helps us remember that life is full of ups and downs, and that most challenges are temporary. To gain perspective, it can be helpful to remind yourself of times when you faced similar challenges and overcome them. Reflecting on past successes can boost your confidence and reassure you that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Strategies for letting go of worries. Schedule worry time. Set aside a specific time each day, perhaps 10 to 15 minutes, just to focus on your worries. During this time, write down what's on your mind without holding back. Once the time is up, close your journal and make a conscious effort to let go of those worries for the rest of the day. By scheduling worry time, you're giving yourself permission to address your anxieties without letting them consume your entire day. Practice mindful observation. Instead of trying to suppress anxious thoughts, observe them as they come and go. Notice each thought without judgment, as if you were watching clouds pass by in the sky. This technique, called mindful observation, allows you to recognize that thoughts are temporary and that you don't need to act on every worry. Practicing this helps create emotional distance between you and your anxious thoughts, making them feel less intense. Ask yourself the "so what" question. When you find yourself worrying, ask, "So what if this happens?" This question helps break down the power of your worries by exploring the realistic outcomes. For example, if you're worried about making a mistake at work, asking "so what" might lead you to realize that mistakes are a part of learning and growth. This question reframes worries, helping you see them in a less threatening light. Limit your information intake. Anxiety is often fueled by information overload, especially in today's world. Limiting your intake of news or social media can reduce unnecessary worries about things that are outside your control. Instead of constantly checking updates, schedule specific times to catch up on news or other sources of information. This approach helps you stay informed without feeling overwhelmed. Develop a balanced mindset. Cultivating a balanced mindset means recognizing both the positive and negative aspects of a situation. When we're anxious, we often focus only on the worst-case scenarios. To counter this, try to identify 3 possible outcomes: the best, the worst, and the most likely. This exercise provides a more realistic view and helps prevent catastrophic thinking. Letting go of control. A major contributor to anxiety is the need for control. When we try to control every outcome, we often feel more stressed and anxious, especially when things don't go as planned. Learning to let go of control means accepting that some aspects of life are unpredictable. This doesn't mean you stop caring. Rather, it's about focusing your energy on the things you can influence. To practice letting go of control, consider adopting a phrase that resonates with you, like "let it be" or "I release what I cannot change." Repeat this phrase during moments of high anxiety to remind yourself that it's okay to let go. Visualizing solutions instead of problems. Anxiety often causes us to fixate on problems, which can make them feel bigger than they actually are. To shift your focus, try visualizing solutions instead. For example, if you're worried about an upcoming presentation, imagine yourself handling it confidently. Picture the steps you'll take to prepare and see yourself delivering the presentation with calmness. This technique helps transform worry into constructive planning, reducing anxiety while empowering you to face challenges. Integrating letting go with the other steps. Letting go of worry naturally complements other anxiety management techniques. For instance, combining self-compassion with letting go can reduce self-criticism when things don't go as expected. Additionally, mindful breathing, introduced in Step 1, can be used as a grounding tool whenever you feel yourself clinging to anxious thoughts. Each time you let go of a worry, you're reinforcing the habit of focusing on what truly matters. Over time, this practice becomes easier and helps you create a mental environment that's less dominated by anxiety. Taking small steps toward freedom. Letting go of worries doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious again. It simply means that you're learning to respond to anxiety with a balanced perspective. By gradually releasing the worries that weigh you down, you're creating space for peace, clarity, and confidence. This step, combined with the other practices, forms a comprehensive approach to managing anxiety. In the next section, we'll dive into Step 6, where we'll explore another effective tool for handling anxiety. Together, these steps build the foundation for resilience and well-being. As we reach the final part of our journey to overcome anxiety, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored. From mindful breathing to letting go of worry, each step has been designed to help you create a more peaceful, resilient mind. Revisiting the key steps, throughout this process, we've covered 6 foundational steps. First, we started with the power of mindful breathing, which helps you return to the present and establish a calm baseline during moments of stress. Then, we moved into journaling, a tool for capturing and releasing anxious thoughts in a constructive way. Physical activity followed as a means of releasing tension from the body and boosting your natural mood. Practicing self-compassion was our fourth step, allowing you to approach yourself with kindness and patience, reducing self-criticism. Next, we discussed letting go of worry and gaining perspective, which helps you break free from the mental loops that anxiety often creates. Each step is an essential piece in managing anxiety, but together, they form a complete, holistic approach. Creating a personal routine. One of the best ways to make these techniques a lasting part of your life is to incorporate them into a daily routine. A structured routine can be a powerful ally in reducing anxiety, as it gives your mind and body a sense of predictability. For example, you might start each morning with a few minutes of mindful breathing to set a calm tone for the day. Midday, you could set aside time for journaling or physical activity, giving yourself an outlet for any stress that has built up. As your day winds down, you might practice self-compassion through gentle affirmations or a gratitude exercise. These small but consistent habits can build a foundation of peace that supports you through both the highs and lows of life. It's important to be patient with yourself as you build these habits. Change doesn't happen overnight, and anxiety management is a journey rather than a destination. Remember that each step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to a healthier, more peaceful mindset. Recognizing progress over perfection. A common challenge when dealing with anxiety is the tendency to focus on perfection. Many people feel frustrated if they can't implement every strategy perfectly or if they still experience anxiety despite their efforts. However, true progress isn't about achieving perfection. It's about developing a healthier relationship with your thoughts and emotions. It's okay to have setbacks. What matters is that you keep moving forward and trust the process. Each time you practice mindful breathing, journal your thoughts, or show yourself compassion, you're building resilience that will strengthen over time. If you find yourself struggling with one of the steps, consider revisiting it from a different angle or adjusting it to fit your unique needs. Anxiety management isn't one size fits all. Some steps may resonate more deeply with you, while others may require extra time and practice. Give yourself permission to personalize this journey and make it work for you. The power of reflection and adaptation. As you implement these techniques, take time periodically to reflect on your progress. Journaling can be especially helpful here, as it allows you to track how your thoughts and feelings have evolved. Reflect on the moments when you were able to let go of a worry or approach yourself with kindness, and celebrate these small victories. There's signs of growth and progress, even if anxiety still arises from time to time. You may also find that certain techniques are more effective at different stages of life. For instance, physical activity might be your main outlet during a particularly stressful period, while self-compassion may be your focus during moments of self-doubt. Feel free to adapt your routine as needed, and don't hesitate to explore new strategies or revisit old ones. Building resilience for the future. Managing anxiety isn't just about finding peace in the present, it's about building resilience for the future. Life is full of challenges, and anxiety may surface from time to time. But with these techniques, you have a toolkit that empowers you to face those moments with strength and grace. Over time, these practices will help you develop a more balanced mindset, allowing you to handle uncertainty without becoming overwhelmed. Resilience doesn't mean never feeling anxious. It means that when anxiety does arise, you have the skills to navigate it in a healthy way. Each technique you've learned is a stepping stone toward lasting inner peace, enabling you to live a life guided by purpose rather than fear. Looking forward, as we conclude this journey, remember that overcoming anxiety is a personal and ongoing process. It's perfectly natural to experience setbacks, and it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Whether through support groups, therapy, or connecting with loved ones, sharing your journey can provide additional strength and perspective. You're not alone in this, and there are countless others walking similar paths toward peace. By embracing the steps you've learned and taking them one day at a time, you're actively creating a healthier, more resilient version of yourself. Anxiety may be a part of your life, but it doesn't have to define it. With these tools in hand, you're well on your way to a brighter, more peaceful future. You've done incredible work by taking this time to understand and implement strategies for managing anxiety. Remember to honor your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Each step is a testament to your strength and commitment to personal growth. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and above all, keep believing in your ability to overcome. The journey toward peace and resilience is well worth every effort you make. If you found this video helpful, Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more insightful content on mental health, motivation, and personal growth. And be sure to visit dleb.com for more resources and tips to continue your journey to peace, confidence, and clarity. Thank you for being a part of this community. With continued practice and patience, you're on your way to a life filled with strength and calm. Keep going, you've got this.